I'm sorry, watching that happen just like that set off the part of me that flames teammates in ranked. Like
Oh no,
that's what that was.
I totally understand that.
Uh, whenever you guys are fully out of spawn, I'll bring up a couple of things, but do you usually play solo, or do you usually like have like a trio queue or something that you play with?
Most of the time it's solo. I've been trying to duo and trio because I'm getting stuck and I'm having a hard time climbing.
Okay.
So I feel like when I trio or duo, I have better communication with the team.
Yeah, that makes sense because you usually like feel like there are people that you can, if you speak, you know that there are people who will listen. Yeah.
Yes.
Um. Cool. So that's just a question I usually have. So before I even what so ranked games are weird because
Yes.
people don't play conducive team comps.
No.
You guys are on Pharmacy Soldier, which is fine as a bit of a poke core, and then you
Hmm.
have a Rein Zarya. These two things do not go together.
No, because they can't
They
sustain
are they
without.
are they are
Yeah.
diametrically opposed. Um so in this scenario, like your main job is just enable your DPS, mostly your Pharah. But I think if this guy wasn't on Pharah, this is a situation where you should be playing
Moira.
Lucia.
Lucia. Okay. For
Uh
speed.
yeah. So here's the thing about Reinhardt, right? Um Reinhardt, people think that it's Rein Zarya that makes a brawl comp. That is not true. You can swap out that Zarya for a Sigma or a Diva, or an Orisa sometimes, right? The thing that makes a
Right.
brawl comp is a Rein Lucio core
Right.
because
Because you can
you
speed
need
the
speed.
Rhine and close the distance.
Yes, you need to enable your Rein. Um, so this is I guess just a bit of like a thing if you have a Ryan play Lucio. That's just how the game works. Um,
Okay.
the worst part of that is that like day one of Owl, Shock played like a non-Ryan. They played Ryan, they didn't run Lucio, and I was like, "Fuck!" And then they lost with it, and I was like, "Yeah!"
You're like proving my point.
I was like, I knew I was right the whole time. But yeah, so if you have a Ryan, you play Lucio. Um,
Okay.
that's a rule. That's a rule. I don't give a lot of rules. That's a rule. But in this team comp, what you guys are on right now, because obviously, if you could hear me in the past and you could change what you're doing, well then I would not be a coach. I would be a fucking wizard. But
If only, if
if,
only.
if only. But so in this team comp right now, what is your job?
My job is to keep the DPS up and enable them to get picks with
Yes.
the damage boost.
Yes, your job is to enable your DPS. Your Ana, because of like the way that your heroes work, your Ana is going to be able to keep your tanks up much more effectively. Um, and we'll talk about the concept of counter pressure later. Um, but yeah, you're really just here to keep your DPS up. Um, and so that is your first thing that I don't know if like notes or whatever, but like at the beginning of every single game that you are in forever, you need to answer that question and say, on the hero that I am on right now, what is my job in this team comp? Because even if it's really simple, like I'm here to enable my DPS, right?
Hmm.
By answering that question, you are doing two things. A, you are confirming what you might already know, and that will help you do it more consciously and effectively. And B, did I say one or A? Whatever. And B,
Today.
okay, cool. I'm not crazy. And then B, it will wake up the little sleeping hamster in your brain, and he's covered in cobwebs. But you're like, hey, buddy, get up, and he's gonna start running on his wheel. So it makes you start thinking, right? It helps you start thinking about the game because you can go like two. I've played Overwatch for like 3 hours and I have just not thought. I have gone completely on autopilot. But by trying to answer those questions and have those things in your brain start to activate, your brain at least says a little bit like, hey, maybe I should think about what I'm doing a little bit. Because conscious and active because conscious and active engagement is very simple in theory of just, yeah, think about what you're doing, ha ha ha. But at the end of the day, it's a skill.
Yes.
Being able to be present for a long period of time is a skill, and it requires practice and stamina and upkeep. So if you just
Right.
start it a little bit, just a little bit, you're going to be good to go.
Start building it back up.
Yeah. But if you just T-pose and you say, I'm just going to go play Overwatch, and then you just go play Overwatch, and then you close the game and you don't even think about, like, your brain just goes, like, if you don't think about what you're
Not
doing,
going to be able to improve.
you're never going to improve. All right, let's actually watch the match. 12 minutes later.
It's all good. I take all the advice.
Healing stream engaged. 5, 4, my ultimate is charging. 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Damage was
Here they have a Doomfist.
the payload.
I'm taking care of you.
I like how you jump across the gap. That's good. Let's see, this is not good because you are in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yes.
But, okay, cool. We are 15 seconds into this game. What does that mean?
I can check what their team comp is.
You can check what their team comp is. Here is your second question that you have to answer in every single game until the sun goes cold and God punishes us for our sins. Who on the enemy comp, or really just what kills you and how does it do it on the enemy team?
It's the Doomfist every time. It's
Really?
also not knowing what they have.
Well, that's why you wait until 15 seconds.
Yeah.
The Doomfist maybe. Anything else?
Probably the McCree.
It's the Kree. And honestly, I think the fact that you're on Mercy means that the Kree is much more dangerous than the Doomfist.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be like flying, right? You're gonna be sticking with your Pharah as much as you can. And Doom has
yeah.
Doom has really good horizontal movement, but not very good vertical movement. So and because of that, like, and considering also that he's a projectile hero to some extent, like, you are able to outrange the Doomfist very effectively if you choose to.
Right.
But that's still good to think about, right? So, but okay, so in what? Let's ignore Doomfist for a sec. In what ways does McCree kill you?
Well, he's a hit scan, so if I'm in line of sight, he's either going to shoot me or the Pharah first.
Yes.
And then the stun can take us out of the air if we're in range.
You should never be, I'll say now, you should never be in range of flashbang. Realistically. He mid-range, long sight, or mid-range sight lines, and if you have LOS, right? That's how he gets you. He doesn't approach you. You are just in his sight lines, kind of like a Widow feels the same way, except McCree plays a little bit closer. So, that means be conscious of the Kree sight lines. Try and LOS him when possible. And if you know the Kree is going to be, or you're going to see the Kree, you need to think of a way, or need to look for a way where you can escape that situation.
Okay.
And that's the question that, like, you literally need to answer for yourself at the beginning of every single game, because it does two things. Once again, it helps, you know, you poke at your little gerbil in your brain and you're like, hey buddy, get up, come on. Makes you start thinking. But really, if you are able to actively track your threats in the moment of game, you are able to much more actively respond to those threats and preemptively deal with those threats.
Right.
Because if you look at the enemy team and you say, hey, they have a Doomfist and Doomfist kills me, and you don't know where the Doomfist is, that's good.
Probably should move.
Those are some fucking, those are some sirens going off in your head being like, wee woo, wee woo, there's a fucking Doomfist. He's in my house. He has a gun. Like,
yes.
And I
would say, I would say their team comp, the Doomfist and the McCree, are two DPS heroes that usually cause me the most grief as a healer, from what I've noticed.
Yeah, makes sense. Because they're strong, they're just good heroes, and they're sometimes difficult to counter without proper team play. So
right,
that makes it difficult sometimes. But it's also and like like I was saying, like, if you don't know, I literally use this in terms of a Doomfist, but if you don't know where the Doomfist is, he's up to no good. Ask your team, figure it out, listen for sound cues. If you don't know where he is, you gotta figure that out. And that goes for all of your threats, right? If you don't know where the McCree is, you have to know where the McCree is.
It's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an issue. Like, if something on the enemy team will kill you, and you don't know where it is, you're gonna die. You're probably already in the wrong place. And maybe you don't need to know where it is 24/7, right? You come back from spawn, you're trying to figure out. Ask your team, talk about it, say, hey, where's their widow peeking? Hey, do you know where their tracer is? Ask those questions, because if you have that information, you will be able to accurately respond to it. But if you don't have that information, you are walking into a fight blind, and then you die, and you say, what the fuck? My team sucks.
Yep.
I know, because I've done that like 100 times. But it's still, at the end of the day, the only person accountable for everything that goes wrong is you.
Yep.
That's simple as.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so at the beginning of every game, say, hey, who on the enemy team beats the shit out of me? And then try and figure that out. Because otherwise, you will die. Huh, that was kind of weird. I don't know how to accurately talk about what just happened.
Yeah. This first point on this competitive map was a hot mess, and I know I was out of place, and I know a lot of, like, most of us were out of place, and it kind of, like, screwed us up for this first point.
Let me see if you... Oh, okay. Do you know how to like float past a target on Mercy?
Oh, what do you mean?
So when you GA to a target, you know how to like float past them and keep moving so you don't just stop at them?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is like your best friend as a Mercy player. Like that will like you just that like using that like 99% of the time, like with 99% of your movement, it just makes you harder to hit. Yeah. Because otherwise,
I usually, yeah.
Because right now what I see is you get to a target and then you stop, which is really easy to hit. But if you get to a target and then you change your movement, you keep moving and you float around a little bit, like it's like no, I don't have a good analogy for this. It just makes you harder to hit.
You should be at peak performance level.
So you're playing TF2 for a second, you're pocketing your heavy. But hey, your Pharah's back. Go talk to her.
I kept trying to say in comms to peek, and then the Zarya pushed.
Well, she's peeking you right now, actually. If you jump, you can see her and fly to her, because it'll wrap around the wall.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
You're Zarya moving in an instinct, that's her fault.
Yeah.
But what's your job?
Keep the DPS alive.
Who's that?
The tank.
This is Zarya, she's a tank. She has like a big beam laser, but you pick her as a tank, right? I know she looks like she does a lot of damage, but she's one of those tank heroes. Yeah, this is the tank. Don't half-ass somebody else's job. Full-ass your own.
Right. I think that's my biggest problem, is I will tend to overcompensate as a healer.
Did you ask your Ren to shield you there?
Yes.
Okay. 3
people in the comms said shield, and he dropped it.
Okay, cool.
It was scary.
That's not, you know, if you died there, I wouldn't have said that's your fault.
This is not your time.
Yeah, and then he pushed forward to shield again.
Some people are a little slow, and you know what? That's okay. Wow, that Kree was shooting at your Pharah that whole time. Guess whose job it is to keep your Pharah alive?
My job.
It's you! Oh, ding, 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 ding. You just won the $1 million for being a fucking idiot.
Yes.
Full-ass your own job. Don't half-ass somebody else's.
Okay.
Yeah, that float past. Do that all the time.
Okay.
What sensitivity do you play at, by the way?
I believe 13. I'm trying to find one that works
best.
What's
your DPI?
I'd have to look.
Okay, cool. Because your sense means nothing without your DPI. Like, so I play on 4.5. Do I play on 4.5 800, 4.5 400, 4.5 1600? Like, that could mean a million different things. And the only reason I say that is because, like, I think it's on this account, but, like, I have 4.5, and then if I go to my Mercy, I have it on 6, right? Because, like, the hero is just like the hero is just less mechanically demanding. So by having a higher sensitivity, I usually like it because I can like whip around and like look at everything
Quicker
really quick.
reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about perfectly tracking a target and like, you know, flexing the muscles in my arms so that I'm perfectly, you know,
Steady aim,
treading
you know.
the line, you know, fucking like, yeah, it's just I can just whip around and look a lot because it's more helpful. And that's not me saying like you need to change your sense. You just seem very like tunnel vision-y, so.
Yeah. I've been trying to find one that works the best.
The damage booster soldier. So, do you know the concept of counter pressure?
Yes, it's something I need to work on because I know that like I probably should be with the soldier because he can push them back out so they stop pushing forward.
Yes, it is
on us.
it is the reason that Zenyatta is a good hero. Because imagine these guys are just walking out in the open for free, right? And you're like
Yeah.
trying to keep your Zarya, but imagine if this whole time you were damage boosting the soldier.
He could have gotten that Ana or the McCree right there.
Yeah, and like let's pretend that he's hitting like any of these shots, right?
Right.
You like if you were to pressure out this left half of people, then that right half of people wouldn't even be an issue, right? Because right now they're hitting you with like a 3-3 and you guys are going to get pinched. But if you pressure out that left half of people, if you pressured them out 10 seconds ago where you could have been damage boosting the soldier, then this right half of people would come in as 3 and they'd say, "Oh, where is my team? I thought you guys were there." When?
Exactly. They would be the ones down rather than us being the ones down.
Yes. By dealing more damage, you are keeping your team alive. But just saying like because like if your guys start taking damage and you heal them, then they are taking X amount of damage, you are healing them for X amount of health, and then that kind of stays at a stalemate. But if your team is
prolonging the inevitable.
Yes, if your team is taking damage and you just go damage boost somebody else and you have your Ana heal them, then your team is getting healed for less, but you are slowing down the enemy. You are, you're putting roadblocks in their way, and if you get picks in that fight, that's the only way you come back for it. Like, by like trying to keep counter pressure with damage boosting, you are giving your team a way back into the fight.
Okay.
And sometimes, yeah, you do need to heal somebody and just keep them alive to make sure you win the fight, like 100%, but it should not just be, I see person in damage.
Just not heal botting, essentially.
Your default should be blue beam.
Okay.
I have the fucking toggle beam connection off because it's better to hold it because you can do it more quickly.
Yeah.
But you should default to damage boost and then only heal when someone takes damage. But you should be defaulting on damage boost.
Okay.
Because imagine if you had 6 people to respond to those people coming in from the right side, right? Imagine if you had a real team there.
Would have been a lot better.
It would have been, yeah, you just wouldn't have died. Maybe you would have died, but you you wouldn't have had to deal with all that.
Immer unterbricht mich jemand bei der Arbeit. You should be at peak.
Hey, what is Valk used for?
Initiating fights. Or sustaining fights.
I disagree. Do you know the concept of a tempo ult?
No.
Okay. So, do you play card games at all?
Yes.
Okay, so you play Hearthstone?
No.
Magic?
No.
All right, well, I give up then. But so you know how in card games you might play something on curve that's not an optimal play because you want to stay up to date with like the power scaling that happens in your game. He plays a 4-mana card, I'm going to play a 4-mana card. Even though my 4-mana card is slightly suboptimal, it's still strong enough to contest his 4-mana card. I'm not going to wait and save it. I need tempo. I need to keep going, right?
Right. Okay.
As a main support, you are the drum line for your team. You are like I don't have you ever heard the song 21st Century Schizoid Man?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how every single time that the music starts to slow down and they start to just noodle on their music for a second, the drums kick back in with
And they beat it back up.
Yeah, it just fucking, you just drive your team forward.
Sets it into overdrive.
You are keeping tempo. Anytime your team starts to slow down, you keep tempo.
Okay.
The purpose of a tempo ult is your Rhine starts taking a little too much damage, or your team starts taking a little too much damage, and instead of saying, guys, let's chill out, let's try to heal up, you hit Valk and you keep going with that tempo, or you hit Sound Barrier and you keep going with that tempo, because if you let the enemy team slow you down, you're changing.
Take space.
Yeah, you're changing the momentum in that fight, right? But if you just keep it going, if you keep those drums going, you keep it going.
It's nonstop pressure
You just
on
keep
the enemy team.
fucking all gas, no brakes. I'm sorry if we don't get through a lot of this VOD, by the way.
Oh, it's okay.
I talk a lot.
It's okay. We lost this one, so it was bad.
Yeah. No, I skimmed through this. I watched the VODs before stuff happens. That's your honest job to heal your Rhine. Damage boost the soldier. Valk. Actually, I would have Valked when the second I heard the
Rhine
voice
showed up.
No, I would have Valked the second the voice line for the Sigma ult happened, actually.
Okay.
Not even he like did the thing on the ground and you could see them lift it up. The second I would have heard it, I would have hit it. Because like, first of all, when you Valk, there's like a half of a second where you can't actually heal, right? Because you're doing the animation.
Right. The reaction time to it.
Yeah, right? So if you just started it immediately, you'd be able to keep that going. But it's because Valk isn't a reactive ult. You can't use it like a Transcendence.
It's supposed to be preventive.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I actually agree with keeping the soldier healed here just because there's a nano boosted Sigma in front of him. But he gets to full health, damage boost him. So why did you move like that?
I was trying to contest point because they had asked somebody to contest.
So
but I realized it was a mistake immediately.
I don't think it's even a mistake. I think just the way you went about it is wrong.
Okay.
Because Valk is actually a pretty fine ult to contest point like this. But what you did was you like let's watch this back from third person.
Yeah, I floated around the front of the garage.
Yeah, you just kind of floated across. And this guy could see you the whole time.
Yeah.
A good player would have killed you there. And I know this is like a silver game or whatever, but like,
yeah, he would have two-shot if
yeah,
because I was dead center.
Yeah, a good player would have killed you there. But what you can do is you can drop and you can play like right here, right? Because you can just LOS that and you can float around. And this guy's probably not going to kill you when you're Valking, and this person's definitely not going to kill you when you're Valking.
Right.
So if the only threat that you have is not going to kill you when you're Valking and you're going to contest, go for it. Just chill here.
Okay.
And like by healing your team this whole time, you know, if you beam to your soldier here, you might link to the Zarya maybe, but like this guy's ulting. It's your job to like enable him and keep him alive, right? You could have killed two birds with one stone, but instead you just said, I will go point, I will go help my team.
Right.
You can do both. Because imagine if you were pocketing that soldier the whole time.
Yeah, would have done a lot more.
Yeah, because even though like you started healing him and he died, if he had more health to start with, he
would have sustained longer.
Exactly. Okay, please don't go for stuff like that. And the only reason I say that is because, like, so there's the question of what can work and what did work, right?
Yeah, it's I see myself do this and I'm like, yes, it works now, but I will get punished later on for doing that because he could have easily two-shot me.
Did he miss? What the? What?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if he had more than 6 brain cells,
yes, I would have been dead.
It's not even about the dying part. It's just the fact that you wouldn't have gotten the res off and you would have wasted the cooldown. And you would have spent all this time going for the res when you could have just been healing your team, when there's like this thing right here that says, hey, no res is for you. Or you could ask your Zari for a bubble. If you wanted to go for this, ask your Zari for a bubble.
Okay.
That's like, it's good. There is, like, I'm in the belief that like if you are trying to get out of it safely, there is no resource too great to commit to rezzing.
Right, yeah, because you bring back a person.
You're
It's
bringing
a,
back, that's just a huge swing. Ask for help with your reses. You getting a clutch res off isn't like oh, I, needled between two people and I did it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's my team helped me get the res off because my teammate died. Like,
yeah. So we'll be more successful as a team.
exactly. Sorry, I was getting water. But yeah, like, you should not have gotten this res off.
No.
And then also, don't float up like this, right? Because that Kree's peeking you. He's peeking you the whole time. When you're Valking, you can just, like, jiggle up and down and try to become hard to hit. When you just, like, float up into the air at a very, like, regular pace.
Constant rate.
Yeah, you're super easy to hit. Like, anybody who spent, like, more than 7 seconds in Osu will track the hell out of you.
Don't let up on them. Let me get you patched up.
See, that's a time where I say, oh yeah, go make sure your Zarya's alive, because he's like 2 health. That was fine. But otherwise, go back to your soldier. Because what are you doing by blue beaming your Zarya right now?
Nothing.
You're doing nothing. Oh, just word of advice. Good players will hit a super jump 100% of the time. It is a very niche skill that you should not get into a habit of.
Yeah, the only reason I'll ever do it a lot, because I do get punished from McCrees and soldiers because it's so predictable, is to get out of the line of Winstons and Tracers.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Also, you know how I talked about like floating and how it saves you a lot?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you could have done here?
I could have floated past the Ana up to the high ground and gotten away.
I think you just could have floated around this corner.
Oh, okay, gotten out of the fight.
Yeah, you could have just left or just died here because you guys are resetting. And honestly, I think just dying here is the right thing to do. But like theoretically, like what you need to be thinking about like your escape routes just in general. Because even in mid fights, you need escape routes from certain threats. So like what you could have done is you could have like swung past this on and like floated around and then been over here and then like maybe peeked back if you wanted to. But just like. You have so much more range to move than you think you do.
Mm-hmm.
By virtue of the fact that you can just keep floating, right? You can carry that momentum. You're essentially like Mercy
slingshotting myself.
Yeah. Like Mercy has a really high skill ceiling for her movement, and a lot of people just don't really think about how to actually use that movement properly.
Right.
Okay, you go to your soldier, that's good. Yeah, it took you a second to notice that Reaper was there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is part of that, like, track your threats, because if you think about where the Reaper is, you're not going to ever be surprised by the Reaper. You're just going to say, hey, I'm looking for the Reaper, and then you see the Reaper and you say, there he is, not, oh my goodness, Ana, you're about to die.
Right, having a...
You kind of walked into that one, buddy.
Yeah.
That being said, you guys just engaged before your main tank was back, so that was a mistake from second to 0.
Yep.
Actually, I think the real mistake was that your main tank staggered beforehand. Whatever. How the fuck? Okay.
And now he's staggering again.
No, I was saying, how the fuck did he just kill that Reaper? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't understand games.
My ultimate is ready.
Well, yeah. Oh, you tunnel vision so hard on helping your run, you let your Ana die.
Yeah.
So the first job of so as a main support, a bigger part of your job than even like at the beginning of the game answering the question of what's my job in this team comp is
keeping my other
keep
support
your flex
alive.
support alive.
So that we can both heal.
Yeah. Because because as a support, right? Value is tied 1-to-1 with how long you are alive, because the enemy team will keep putting resources into killing you, and the enemy team will keep like and by the time, and you're just gonna keep your team alive. So you were just
prolonging the fight.
By staying alive, you are getting value, even if you're not doing anything. Right? Like you are getting value just by being alive. So first and foremost, make sure your other support is not in the fuck zone, because Cloud is currently in the fuck zone. This guy's 99 to nano and you let him die.
Yeah, which could have probably helped this fight.
Yeah, that's bad. At least you didn't go for that res.
I asked for bubble and she said she didn't have it. That's why I stopped.
No, that's fine. You didn't go for it, and that's good.
Yeah.
Also, I think you could have flew up to your Kree because he was up here, right? Like, it's your Zarya's job to contest this point right now. She's full health. She has a bubble. You are 2 HP.
Right.
Full ass your own job. Don't half-ass somebody else's. Because imagine if you just damage boosted your Kree or healed your Kree that whole time.
Would have made a difference.
Yeah, it would have made a difference. You would have applied counter pressure.
Science will reveal the truth.
I think that this is a bad hero in this situation. Why? Because you don't have speed boost, and Ryan is necessary with it. I see you going for the trigonometry there. I respect that. And especially, like, Moira also doesn't function without a Lucio, really. Right? Like,
right, yeah. Because I can't close gaps without using Fade.
Yeah, and if you use Fade, you're just opening yourself up to you're going to get sent to the Shadow Realm. That's simple as, right? Like, yeah. So, I don't think Moira's a very good pick here.
Okay.
Hey, what are you right-clicking at?
Nothing.
You're not right-clicking at anything right now. Also, your heals don't go through shields. Just by the way. Yeah, Moira's a very limited range hero. You are the shotgun of keeping people alive.
Right. That makes sense.
Touch from afar.
Thanks, I just thought of it. Go over and help your Ana, that's good. But what you should be doing, you come over and you help your Ana, that's good. The mistake you make is you just stay in the open, right?
Right.
You
should have gone on the stairway.
Yeah, you should, or you could just get right close up to this Winston, right? Because, like, I don't think you guys know the Kree is over here, but, like, mathematically, the Winston isn't going to kill you guys. He just mathematically does not do enough damage to kill you two if you were just healing each other.
Yeah.
So let him do damage. Good that your immediate response is to leave. From the noon, that's good. Oh, you just lost track of your resources there. So, Moira's heal has a little bit of an overtime effect. Her left click does. So if I heal somebody, they're going to get healed for a little more health over time. So if somebody's like, you don't always need to just hard hold left click. You can like spray them a little bit and then go like heal back and
deal with other stuff.
Yeah, you should be like going back and forth, right? Like you should be fucking throwing out Naruto hand jutsus, like
left, right, left, right.
Yeah. Like actually fucking wax on, wax off, like guy's anti-healed. You're not going to heal him when he's anti-healed. Just friendly reminder that the purple thing means that anti-heal. Sorry if that's patronizing. This is just how I talk.
Oh no, I do that out of habit, and it's so bad because I'll look at it and I'm like, you're anti, there's nothing I can do, but I will keep heals on that person, and that's so bad to do.
Yeah. You know, you just had to touch there. It's whatever. Fight was over. Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta fucking press the shut up button. Because otherwise I'm gonna hear tick 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 until my brain explodes.
It's the most annoying sound.
So awful. Oh my god. Anytime I'm in scrims and somebody pauses it while the point is being capped, I literally,
you just keep hearing it. Yep.
I have to walk away from my computer. Oh my god, that is sorry, that's a weird side.
You're like, let me know when it's over.
Yeah, literally.
You should be at peak performance
level. Do you guys, yeah, I think you guys end up rolling out on this comp.
No, we lose.
By rolling out, I mean walking out of the spawn room.
Oh, yeah. To which our whole backline gets completely obliterated by both the Reaper and the Winston the entire time.
So, what's your job in this comp?
Damage boost the McCree and the Soldier.
Yeah, maybe the soldier a little less because he's he's more mobile, but
Right.
yeah. Yeah, that's your job. It's your job. So I think that you guys are on a bad healer comp for the comp that you're playing. You guys should probably be on like a Bap Zen or a Bap Brig or a Mercy Bap.
Okay.
I don't think Ana's good with this comp, but you're also not the one playing Ana. So you guys swap to Ryan. Okay, never mind. Throw everything I just said out of the window. I'm an idiot. The fuck just happened?
I think it's because you paused it in the other spot and it's pushed. I have no idea. That was weird.
Go with him.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah, but even though you guys are on like a suboptimal comp for this, this is a scenario where I think Lucy would be really, really good because you can box
Speed out onto them.
A, you can speed out, and B, you box out the Reaper. Like that's the biggest thing.
Right.
You tell the Reaper he's not allowed to play the game. It's like I don't know if you ever like played like meat sports, but like setting a pick is.
Yes.
You're essentially just like setting a pick on the Reaper every single time.
Right.
So you decided you were getting buzzed by this Winston, right?
To Valk into the middle.
And you
not
decided
Valk, but, yeah.
to enter the fuck zone.
Yeah.
Where the enemy team just said, I believe you will be dead.
Yeah.
When you had like 2 other places you could have gone to keep you alive. Think about your escape route.
Right.
If you don't have an escape route, go make one.
Figure out where I can go.
Figure out where you gotta go. Because the most important part of like what kills you and how does it do it is like the secret follow-up to that is like, what's the prevention? How do I position? How do I play around that? Because right here, you just said danger on, like, you just said there was danger there, and you decided to leave. You didn't think about where you were leaving, you just left.
Right, yeah. Didn't think that there was safer to the right, and I just put myself immediately in all that damage.
Yeah, and the thing is, you need to think about the safety somewhere else before you are getting shot.
Right.
You need to, but it's so that immediately the second you take damage, it's not even you look around and you say, I need to go over there to my McCree on the right, and then you go there. It's just the second you take damage, you just leave. You're gone. You're out.
Right.
Valkyrie online.
Yeah, don't cross that open sight line like that, please.
Yeah.
If your teammates are hiding over on the right side there, and you can't see the enemy team, but you're not pushing the cart, you know where the enemy team is. You know where they are, even if you can't see them. You know that they're just contesting cart and stopping your team from pushing, because why else would your team be hiding over there, right?
Why else would they be over there?
You should be able to figure out just as much by what you can see as by what you can't. If you can't see the enemy team, you need to think about where they be. Like, on their comp, what rotations do they want to take? Where do they want to be going? Your default should be damage boost. I know I mentioned that. I'm just repeating.
Reiterator, yeah.
Because right now you're blue beaming a full health McCree. That guy's in 0 danger. You were in a lot of danger and you just didn't think about it. And your auto just slow walked into a fire strike. What the fuck? Sorry.
This second point, we all kind of, the wheels fell off the wagon.
Yeah. But hey, you know what kills you and how does it do it? And if you don't know where it is, you got to figure it out. Let's watch.
Perfect example.
Let's watch this Reaper.
I think he just stood there. Yeah.
Let's just watch this. Let's watch Chig Bungus on the Reaper here for a second. Because I want you to know exactly how embarrassing it is that you died here to fucking Chig Bungus.
Oh, yes,
Okay, it is... we are, what is it? 10-14. That is the second you stop seeing the Reaper. This is when you should have warning signs start to go off.
Yeah, where is he?
Literally
So
10
bad.
seconds. 10 seconds. And you don't even think about where this guy is. The guy who is going to send you to the fuck zone.
Yep.
10 seconds. You should have had alarms going off at 4.
Right.
He just slow walked around the corner and shot you like 3 times. Casually. Like he was going for a fucking afternoon stroll, walking his dog, and picking up a bagel.
Upstairs.
Like, you need to keep track of your of your threats. Because otherwise this is going to happen 1,000 more times.
Yeah.
You're on a slow walk so fast. Sorry. I'm sorry, watching that happen just like that set off the part of me that flames teammates in ranked. Like that's what that was.
I totally understand that.
That's the part of me where I die in a ranked game and I look at my teammate do something stupid and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I must go.
And then, you know, we like argue for the next 10 minutes and then, you know, we avoid each other and go our separate ways.
Heroes never die.
Hey, this fight is lost.
Yeah.
This is a lost fight. You are either your team is dead or walking out of the spawn room. This is a useless Valk. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. That was useless. And bad. And dumb and stupid.
Positioning.
And you gotta do better. Also, yeah, you have no reason to be peeking this like you are, but that's not the important part. The important part is that you used an ult. What? This guy thinks he's Fisher. He thinks he's Fisher. He actually thinks he's Fisher. That's so cute.
You should be at peak performance levels.
Let's pretend this Reaper isn't here for a second. You got shot at like a couple of times here. You know how fast characters move, right?
Yes.
If you close your eyes and you imagine like 2 Rhines, this is like the last big thing I want to like. This is like the last big concept I want to introduce to you because you seem to be really receptive to these, and usually I don't introduce it until later, but I'm just gonna bring it up now. So, you should be able to, right now, close your eyes and imagine 2 Rhines swinging at each other and like, visualize their health bars going down. Maybe you don't know the exact numbers, but you should be able to, like, roughly think about how much damage they're taking and how much they're gonna need to be healed, right?
Right.
If you were to close your eyes, you should know how much time it would take for this McCree to kind of walk forward and peek around the corner after he already shot at you.
Right.
This is a concept
Probably 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Less if he has a roll.
You don't even need to know the time, though. You should just be able to feel it as it happens. Because in game, you're not thinking 1, 2, 3.
Right, yeah,
You
no.
should just feel it. You should be like, oh, you know, Kree's probably peeking me by now. This is a concept that I call the mental projection. And it's essentially being able to know what's going to happen in the game without looking at it. Because of the information that you already know. Like it's essentially like if you like and good players do this without thinking about it. And the term is a term that I made up, so
it fits, though.
It fits. Like it's you could drop any like high level player, you could make them watch 5 seconds of a fight and then say what happens in the next 10 seconds and they would be able to tell you because they could just know what's going to happen.
So that kind of falls into the same category of like tracking ults and knowing like if a Rhine is pushing farther forward, you know he probably has shatter and is looking to shatter.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You need to be thinking about the extension of what is currently happening.
Okay.
It's like and you know that's going to change. You're not always going to be right about what's going to happen next, but
it's better to think about it and be prepared for it than not be prepared and not know what's going to happen.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, you're exactly correct. Like, it's like when a baby develops object permanence, right? It's like, okay, yeah, sure, this apple is probably still gonna be there when I'm back, so I'm gonna assume it's there, so that when I come home, I want to eat this apple, and I know it's there because I left it there, right?
Right.
And if it's not there, then something has changed. But I still went into things with an assumption of this is how the world is, and I assume that in this short period of time it will stay that way. or it will
Right.
continue to do what it is doing. If the apple isn't moving, then the apple is going to keep not moving.
Right.
It's the same thing with this kind of stuff. If something is happening, you have to think about the continuation of what is currently happening.
Right.
Because right here, I think this Kree should already be walking around the corner and shooting you in the face.
Yeah, because he knows where I am and would continue to go there.
Yeah, and he already shot at you, right? He already knew that you had taken damage.
Yeah.
So
he's
should...
going to actively seek out finishing that kill off.
Exactly.
You look tired. Back in the fight.
This is a good hero.
It's a hero I'm trying to get better at, but know very little about.
Here's a rule on Brig.
Uh-huh.
Never ever except sometimes pack your tanks. Do not use repair packs on your tanks. It is useless. It does not heal them a whole lot, and repair packs are a limited resource.
Yes.
You fulfill the same role as Brig that you do on Mercy. Your job is to enable your DPS. You just do that in different ways. Brig keeps your Ana alive, and then will pack your DPS at long ranges. And also, you'll pack your Ana.
Right.
Because I think your Ana should be dead right now.
Yes. I don't know why that Reaper pulled out of the fight. He was full health.
Well, I mean, you were coming out of spawn, so, like, I understand it, right? But the fact that you didn't pack your Ana, she should be dead.
Right.
Hey, she's in spawn. You didn't need to pack her there, you dingus.
Right.
Oh yeah, on Brig, abuse the fact that you have wall hacks.
Yes.
You can peek around corners.
Same way with Ryan.
Yeah, you do not need to peek like this. There is no reason to put your full body into this door frame. You not being dead here is a medical miracle.
Yeah, or eating the fire strike.
Yeah. Yeah, like you have no reason to peek that doorway like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't hard shield somebody, right? Like I'm working under the assumption that the rest of this VOD is kind of like this, but I'm just gonna show you on Brig. Like, have you ever played the game Vermintide?
No.
All right, never mind then. So on Brig, right? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be this.
Right.
What you should be seeing is this.
Okay.
Like, you want to bounce between the two a lot, right? Because if you just hard hold shield, they're just gonna break your shield instantly, right? But you,
exactly.
You need shield. Like, your health is a resource, and your health will be coming back faster than your shield does. So your shield should be to stop a burst, or something that, like, or really, you just need to be evenly dividing your damage between your health and your shield until you get to around 125, in which case you want to go back to fully using your shield.
Okay.
But, like, you need to be bouncing between the two, right? Because right here, it's like if you swing, there is time between those swings where people shoot you.
For them to do damage.
But if you hit the swing and then immediately do this, you've done your damage and you have cut off the exit lag of your swing by, like, 0.3 seconds.
Okay.
And it's just more efficient, right? It's just mathematically, you are in danger for less time if you cut off your swings with your shield. Unless you continue to just swing like this, right? Which does happen in some scenarios, right? If you're rallying, you know, just go for it. Go ham.
Right, yeah. Swing at everything.
Yeah, just go for it. But, like, if you're doing, like, you need to be cutting off the exit lag. It's like, I don't know if you play, like, Super Smash Brothers at all, but it's like, it's like wave dashing. You're literally cutting off the exit lag of your movements, and you are letting yourself do something else more quickly.
That makes sense.
Same thing. We can watch the last little bit of that VOD, but I'm assuming there's not much more to go on.
Yeah, nothing improves.
Yeah. Do you have any moments you want to look at or questions you want to ask, or do you want to move to a wrap up?
I'm good with a wrap up.
Okay, cool. then I would like to ask you, this is not a test, this is not an exam, this is what did you get out of this session? So, what are you taking out of here today?
Taking out just making sure that I'm reiterating every time I start a competitive match, who am I going to be with? What is my job? As well as keeping track of what can be a threat. And if I don't see it, know that it is probably going to be causing issues and I need to be aware of where it is or figure out with the team where it's at, as well as just being more aware of line of sight for certain heroes like McCree and probably Soldier.
Cool. Anything else?
I would say also just being being less of a heal bot and more pushing the damage boost out, trying to shut down fights and then healing people up.
Counter pressure. Cool. Then I want to slot in one more thing. Just a reminder of in terms of like what's gonna try and like kill you in a fight. Remember to always be thinking about an escape route before you actually need one.
Right.
Because otherwise, you have to respond to it. But if you preemptively deal with the issue, then you don't have to
I already know
respond.
where I'm
Yeah,
going.
you're just fine. Well, in the wise words of the late great MF Doom, that's that. That's what I had to cover.
Awesome. That'll be really helpful, I feel like.
Yeah, thank you.